Creating is easily one of the most beautiful things in the world. You know, music for me is definitely an art. You know, I think with any art, any type of creating, you run into these blocks, you run into mental blocks, you run into sometimes you just fatigue, man. You have audio fatigue to the point where, I mean, with me, you don't even want to hear music. You just want to let your ears rest. So, you know, you run into blocks, and then, you know, you run into situations as well where you got this sample that you want to sample, and you like, yo, I'm about to bang it out. I got all this shit planned, but it doesn't really necessarily work or sound the way that you want it to sound, or you got the sample chopped up, laid down, but you don't got the right sounds to add to it to make it sound the way that you want to sound. I think that's probably one of the biggest things with creating, man. And one of the biggest things is creating with another artist. You might either have the same type of workflow and you might butt heads because of that, or it might work. Or you might have a guy who's too gung-ho with the shit and you kind of laid back. So they only see the end product. They don't see the grit. They don't see, you know, staying in the studio 8 hours, 9 hours just trying to master it, get this sound directly how I want it to sound, get the right snare, get the right kick, get the right hat. It's a lot of loops in this shit, man. It's a lot of loops that you run through. It's not for the weak, man. The end product of creating is essentially what I create for, to see, you know, what comes from something. You know, you could have a sample that everybody in the mother heard, but the way you play with it, the way you chop it, the way that you create your own world, you know what I mean, with producing. You could take a sample that's very known and make it sound like it's something that no one's ever heard. And I think that's the reward, you know. And another reward for me, and if you take this as arrogance, by all means, I don't care, but I love when people don't know what I'm sampling. That's a reward for me, because people can't sit there and say, oh, I know that, or I heard that. That's a reward for me, because you're making your art rare. You're making it, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody could go sample whatever's on YouTube. That's one of the best rewards for me, is just seeing the final product and people not knowing what the fuck you sampled. I like that. Another reward for me is just seeing, you know, if I'm in the studio with Riggs, you play a beat and seeing people go crazy. Playing them for other people and seeing a genuine reaction on that first initial play is, I would put that at number one as far as the reward. Because, you know, you're either gonna get a okay, cool, or, you know, a lot of the times you get like the what is this? What is that? How'd you make that? What'd you do? What were you thinking when you made that? And that's one of the biggest rewards for me, bro. I started making beats as some form of therapy. I was a knucklehead, so I just happened to be good at it, and people heard it, and like I said, people went crazy. You know, people were like, whoa, what is this? What is this? So that's one of the biggest rewards for me, is just seeing people appreciate my art